Back now at 7:30 on CBS Mornings. As Russia increases its attacks on Ukrainian cities, there is a growing international push to charge Russia's leaders with war crimes. The list of alleged violations includes the bombing of a maternity hospital, the shelling of residential areas, and an attack on a nuclear power plant. Russian President Vladimir Putin is among those who potentially could be charged. Senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge reports the evidence could come together rapidly. However, getting a conviction would be hard indeed. Catherine, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. Our investigative team found the Russian aggression in Ukraine is so severe and events unfolding so rapidly that a war crimes case could come together quickly. As a warning, the video in this report is graphic and may be disturbing to some people.
Beyond the indiscriminate shelling of civilian targets and the mortar attack on fleeing families, Vladimir Putin crossed a perilous threshold when a Russian assault set off a fire at Europe's largest nuclear reactor.
This is the most direct case, really, since World War II, of having certainly a great power engaging in this kind of attack on the civilian population.
Stephen Rapp is a former U.S. ambassador at large for war crimes who's built cases against dictators and sought accountability for genocide.
How will investigators build a war crimes case against the Russian president?
The first way that they can build it, and it may be sufficient in this case, they can look at the pattern of the attack.
If there is a war crimes designation against Vladimir Putin, what would it mean?
Well, it would mean that he's an international pariah. It also means that he can't travel anywhere, no more summits, because he'd be putting himself in danger.
The U.S. Embassy in Kyiv called the attack on the nuclear plant a war crime. But hours later, the White House dialed back the language.
We have not made conclusions. It's a legal review and a process that goes through the administration.
So the bar is very high.
It's very high, but just given the intensity of this campaign and the civilian destruction, I think that can be developed in a matter of weeks.
The International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, has opened an investigation into Russia's conduct in Ukraine. The U.S. is not part of the court, which has a track record of 10 convictions over 2 decades. Securing justice there does not happen quickly. The court had to pull the arrest warrant for Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi after he was executed by his own people. And Syria's President Bashar al-Assad remains in power, nearly a decade after he allegedly used chemical weapons against the Syrian people.
Is there any past indication that Vladimir Putin cares about being branded a war criminal?
I don't think so.
Matthew Kranig worked the Russia and nuclear portfolios under the Bush, Obama, and Trump administrations. He told CBS News there's a rising threat from Russia's stockpile of lower-yield weapons known as tactical nukes.
These are weapons that would be used for winning a battle on the field in Ukraine.
Is the use of a tactical nuclear weapon against civilians a war crime?
Yes, a war crime of the highest order.
This week, intelligence officials warned of a Russian policy called escalate to de-escalate.
We obviously take it very seriously.
That allows for the use of smaller tactical nuclear weapons on the battlefield to intimidate an adversary.
I think before he lost the war, he would try to use nuclear weapons to try to pull victory from the jaws of defeat.
Some people listening to that may say that you're being an alarmist. Are you being an alarmist?
Well, I think the risk of nuclear war is still low, but I think the risk is higher now than any time we've seen in recent years.
When you hear those sirens, where does your heart take you?
Well, it always takes me to the side of those people that are there and to families whose children are dying. And obviously, it always motivates me to say, what can we do to bring that guy in?
But yesterday at the State Department briefing, a spokesman said they've seen credible reporting of deliberate attacks on civilians, which would, under the Geneva Conventions, constitute a war crime. Though not part of the International Criminal Court, the spokesman said the U.S. is gathering evidence for a possible prosecution. Dana.
All right, Catherine, and as you reminded us in the piece, the difference between that charge and then actual accountability or punishment. Thank you.